I'm going to say something today, and you may think I'm fucking crazy, but man, oh man, do I ever feel patriotic today as a Canadian citizen and as a man who lives 45% of the time in the United States. I have the privilege of living in the two greatest countries in the world, the United States of America and north of the border in Canada. And the reason that I'm feeling so patriotic today, as you can see, I'm wearing a Canadian poppy. I'm shooting this video on November 11th, and the same as Veterans Day in the United States. Up north of the border, we honor the millions and millions of men and women who have worn the Canadian military uniform, past, present, and future, so that we can enjoy the freedom that many of us take for granted. In today's world, in 2024, you look around and you see a lot of people think freedom is free. They think that somehow we're special or we're unique. You see a lot of entitlement. You see a lot of selfishness. You see a lot of laziness. You see a lot of things being taken for granted. But one of the things that I insist as a father, as a man, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, I never, ever, ever, ever take my freedom, my autonomy, and my personal sovereignty for granted. And at the heel of the hunt, these men and women, these soldiers, over the last hundreds and hundreds of years, have secured this blanket of freedom for us. There's a reason we live in the two greatest countries in the world. But the reason that I'm feeling so patriotic today is because not only are we heading into a pro-business environment, pro-America mindset, you've got some real leaders now going to be leading the American government. You've got some ass kickers. You got some people in there that are going to take care of the cupcakes and the snowflakes. And you're going to see America prosper over the next 4 years like we haven't seen in decades. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen without difficulty. But if you're an entrepreneur or you're a small business owner like myself, then you got to make hay when the sun is shining. And trust me, over the next few years, this is the time when the hay is, you got to make hay. You got to make hay over the next 4 years. You're going to be in an environment where taxes are cut, where people are feeling better about the economy. Inflation is going to be gradually reduced. A lot of this red tape and bureaucratic nonsense, anti-business thinking, all of this stuff that you've seen over the last 4 years is going to disappear. You're going to be in a pro-business environment. You're going to be in a pro-entrepreneurship environment. And all of the nonsense that you've had to deal with over the last 4 years, it's not going to be there. And it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be a lot better environment to do what you got to do. So if you're thinking of, quitting the job you hate, or you're thinking of starting up a one-person business, or you're thinking of, launching an idea or a product or writing a book, whatever it is you're thinking of doing it, now's the time. Now's the time. There is no perfect time. The perfect time to start something was 30 years ago. But now the second best time is now. But you're going to be entering a pro-achievement culture like never before. And you need to block out all the nonsense that you're going to hear from the people that aren't players. They're not players. Oh, this and that, and that's too harsh. And you know what? You need to make hay when the sun shines. And as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a writer, as a marketer, whatever the hell it is you do, the sun is about to shine. No more procrastinating, no more overthinking it, no more watching 7 podcasts a fucking week, no more burying yourself in mental masturbation. Now is the time to execute. Now is the time to execute. Like I always say to my hockey players, to my employees, to anybody that'll listen, we don't have an education problem. You and I do not have an education problem. What you and I have is an execution, an application problem. The biggest thing is our application of what? You don't need any more information. All we have to do is sharpen the saw every day with a few things here and there. Read for half an hour, something that makes you a little bit smarter, learn a little bit more every day. But you don't need to bury yourself in more information. We don't have an information problem. We have an application problem. We need to start taking action, and we need to take action now when the sun is about to shine. You're going to see corporate taxes. You're going to see entrepreneurial small business taxes cut. You're going to see people in better moods. The inflation is going to come down. People are going to start to spend more money. People are going to be more proud of their military, more proud of their country. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And you got to make hay when the sun is shining. Don't be this person who looks up in 3 or 4 years and says, I wish I would have started. Start now. Even if you're not ready, start now. Get the idea, get it out there and test it. See, in Canada, the reason as a Canadian citizen that I'm feeling so patriotic on this Remembrance Day is what you did in America. What you did in America is now about to happen in Canada. Justin Trudeau's 15 minutes is up. In the next year, we have a federal election, and after 9 years of him brutalizing our country, running our country into the ground to the point where nobody wants to invest in Canada, nobody wants to deal with Canada, and we've lost so much. I have not been a proud Canadian on the world stage for 9 years since that guy took office. We would have been better off with a child running the company. The billions, if not trillions of dollars that have been lost from outside investment, nobody wants to invest in Canada. Canada is the most anti-business, socialist country in the last 9 years of Trudeau's so-called leadership. His party can't even stand him anymore. His wife can't stand him anymore. His children can't stand him anymore. This is a guy whose party, the Liberal Party of Canada, is begging him to step down. Absolutely on bended knee, please step down, and he won't. I mean, we're talking about a guy who never ran a business, never ran a lemonade stand, never organized a one-car parade, and we put him in charge of running the biggest business in our country, the government of Canada. So we have anybody that voted for this long on style, short on substance clown. We have nobody to blame but people that voted this guy in. And they voted him in 3 consecutive times. But our country is in such awful shape now, our economy is in tatters, that we need to get this guy out now. We need to get Trudeau out. When the election finally comes in the next year, we've got to get this guy out. And when we get him out, we have the next great Prime Minister, Pierre Poilievre, waiting in the wings. A conservative who was trained by the great Stephen Harper, the greatest Canadian Prime Minister in history, who we voted out for Trudeau. Pierre Poilievre is a family man. He's a leader. He's a pro-business, pro-entrepreneurship, pro-family leader. We get Poilievre in there, and you got Trump south of the border. It's time to make hay when the sun shines. When Trump was in last time, you couldn't drag him to Canada. He wasn't going to sit down with Justin Trudeau. They had zero in common. One was about, make America great again. The other guy was about make Canada communist. They had nothing in common. These countries, Canada and the United States, we need to be best friends. We need to be best friends. Like Reagan was best friends with Brian Mulroney. That needs to happen again. So now that part one happened in America, okay, and now part two is about to happen in Canada in the next year and a half. Man, oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited as a business owner. I'm excited as an entrepreneur. I'm excited as a content creator, because the sun's going to shine and I'm going to make hay. So, man, do I feel patriotic today. Man, am I optimistic about what's going to happen over the next 4 to 5 years. I could not be more grateful. I could not be feeling more blessed. And I'm thinking about what my 91-year young dad says all the time. He says, you're living in the greatest time in history, 2024. It's not even close. We are awash in wealth, opportunity, and abundance like never before. If you're online, you've got billions and billions of customers at your fingertips. If you're using the internet, you've got trillions and trillions of dollars that happen every day on the internet. Billions of potential customers and trillions of dollars, literally rivers of money that we can go and stand in every single day. Plus you have the superpower of artificial stupidity, which will be used by most people as another addiction to make themselves even more fucking useless than they are now. But if you do it the top 1% way, you'll use artificial intelligence as a tool. No different than the internet, no different than texting, no different than a smartphone, no different than artificial stupidity. You'll use it as a tool. It will be your servant. You will not be its slave. But man, oh man, we are now, I thought times were good. Times are about to explode. And like my dad also says, the best is yet to come. My dad says that at 91, the best is yet to come. And I was listening to Coach Jim Harbaugh, at the end of every game that the Chargers win. Harbaugh's NFL Coach of the Year. Wherever that guy go, he's a player, he's a cleaner, he's a champion, he's a badass. You hire Harbaugh and you're in the sport of winning. And if a team like the Chicago Bears or some of these other cheap-ass franchises, if they had invested in a guy like Jim Harbaugh, right off the bat, they'd be a playoff team in year one. Year two, you're a Super Bowl contender. And probably year 3 or 4, you're in the Super Bowl if not winning it. The power of incredible leadership. The power of leadership of your president, of your prime minister, of your football coach, of your teachers, of your coaches, your consultants, your fathers, your mothers. But Jim Harbaugh says it best at the end when he talks to his team, who has it better than us? And they all scream, nobody. That was his saying at Michigan. Who has it better than us? Nobody. Same thing in Canada. Who has it better than us? Nobody. Who has it better than us in the United States of America? Nobody. And now the sun's about to shine. It's your moral obligation to get your ass in gear. It is your patriotic duty to get your ass in gear. It is your calling, your purpose, and your mission. If you haven't been on a mission, now is the time to ask yourself, why am I here? How can I serve people? How can I make a difference? God, what is my calling? What have I been put here to do? What is my mission? A man without a mission is a man without balls. What's your mission? How can you serve people? How can you build a legacy? How can you change the directions of people's lives? You need a mission, you need a purpose, and you need a calling. But keep in mind, over the next 4 years, who has it better than us? Nobody. And like Harbaugh says, nobody. And like my dad says, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Remember that. Get yourself ready to lock and load here Forget about the procrastination, forget about the overthinking, and start taking action, violent, consistent action on the goal that you have. The one thing that you've been saying you want to do, now's the time to do it. Now's the time. The sun is about to shine, and it's your moral obligation. It is your patriotic obligation as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a community volunteer. It's your moral obligation to go balls to the wall over the next 4 years and make this world a better place. You can download a free copy of my brand new book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life in the next 30 days. It's my complimentary free gift to you. The link is below, brassballsvideos.com. A word of warning about that book. My book is not every entrepreneur's cup of whiskey. I wrote this book for champions, not for chumps. I wrote it for winners, not for whiners. If that's your cup of Jack Daniels, you can download the book below. It's 22 pages. You can read it in 15 to 20 minutes. brassballsvideos.com. God bless Canada. God bless America. Thank you for this opportunity that we are being given here over the next several years. Our moral obligation, our patriotic obligation, and it's time to make hay because the sun is about to shine. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change yours. Be relentless.